Hello, welcome back. Leah Borski here. I'm going to hang out just for a minute, make sure to give people enough time to get on, and then we'll go ahead and get started with day 3. This is the work-life balance workshop, lives for work-at-home moms. And so far we have covered, let's see, the last 2 days. First day topic was tips for helping to make sure that your kids don't get bored while they're home all day and you're working. And I know that for some of us, we do that kind of nonstop. We're homeschoolers, or our kids are younger and they're with us 24/7. And then for some of us, our kids are in school during most of the year, so summer break is coming and we might not be quite used to having the kids with us all day while we're trying to do this and trying to balance everything out. So that's why I decided to come on this week and share some tips with you guys. Then yesterday's topic was how to delegate and accept help. I know for myself, that was a really hard thing to do for a long time. I felt like I'm supposed to be the one that's doing everything, and I had certain ways that I liked things done, and it felt just easier to do it myself than to try to show someone else or ask someone else. And then I realized yesterday, I had a coffee date with a friend, and we were talking, and I realized that I remembered from when my kids were really little, you know, I remember feeling like everybody else had their shit together and I didn't, and I couldn't figure out why, and it was kind of embarrassing, and I felt ashamed that I couldn't figure it out and everybody else was. And now I know that's not the case. We're all a mess. We're all trying to figure out this thing together. And so anyway, I'm here to share with you my experience with that and some things that have helped me. So I'm gonna go ahead. Please comment if you're here. Let me know that you're here so I can say hi. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So if you don't know me, I'm Leah Borski. I am the author of Amazon #1 bestselling in healthy cooking book called Eat to Beat Stress. And I am also a self-care and stress management coach for ambitious moms who need more energy, harmony, and what's the other word? My mind just went blank. Energy, harmony, and relief in their lives because things get chaotic, and I am here to support you with that. So today is day number 3. Just a little bit about me. I've been a work-at-home mom for 12 years. I've done this through all stages of my kids' lives, from being pregnant with my first up until recently. We're now just finishing our 2nd year of homeschooling. I have 2 kids that are 11 and 7 years old, and we've been homeschooling just for the last 2 years. So that has been a learning experience for me as well, figuring out how to manage my business and take care of myself and do the homeschooling thing and be full-time with my kids all day again. So that has been a process, and I've learned a lot of lessons throughout this 12-year journey that I like to share with other moms who are in different stages or different experiences, but all of us, no matter what our situation, need support and some kind of tools and structure to manage all that and balance all that and make it feel good and not like we're working ourselves to death and have nothing left at the end of the day. And so that's what I'm here to help you with. So today we're talking about how to nourish and hydrate for energy. So I know when I first, well, for the first few years that I was working at home, I really didn't eat. I depended on caffeine a lot. I would forget to eat, and then when I did, I was really not feeling great. low blood sugar comes into effect, and just feeling gross. And then you just kind of like grab whatever you can find that's fast, and usually it's not good, because if you're not planning to eat, you're probably not planning ahead with what to eat either. And that is a big thing that I teach in my workshops and programs, and share on this page and in my group, Revitalize Lounge. If you're not in there, you are welcome to join us, and I would like it if you did. So let's see, during my first few years as a work-at-home mom, my husband and I did not have healthy habits really at all. We had quit smoking just prior to becoming pregnant with my son, and we had been long-time heavy smokers. And so like eating healthy wasn't a thing for us. Exercise wasn't a thing for us. None of that. Like, we were very fast food and processed food and junk food, all that good stuff. So what happened for me was I was working as a medical transcriptionist, and I was getting all these reports from doctors. When you work as a transcriptionist, you listen to the recording of the doctors, and they dictate the reports, and then you type out what they say, if you're not familiar. So that was my job, and that's what I was doing, and I was starting to notice like a pattern. Like, a lot of people who were having serious health problems, serious consequences from their lifestyles, and it was like all these different diagnoses and things that they were going through, but at the core of it was basically like most of the ailments that people were suffering were filtering into the three major things, which are obesity, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. And all three of those things are super, super preventable. Obviously not all the time, there's genetics that play a factor too, but for the most part, these are preventable disorders, and the aftermath and the effects from having those, or the things that happen while you're on your way to being diagnosed with those, can be changed. And when I realized that, I had this huge wake-up call. I remember crying to my husband that I didn't want, this gets me every time. I didn't want to be that for our kids. I didn't want our kids to experience that, with us being constantly sick, constantly in the hospital, constantly on medications, constantly feeling gross, having no energy to be with them. Like, I wanted us to have time, like longevity, but also like quality time with our kids that wasn't wasted because we weren't healthy enough to be there with them. And so that was what got me started on the healthy eating and learning about nutrition and figuring out, okay, what do we need to do to make sure that we aren't going down that road, or at least doing whatever we can to prevent it as much as possible. So, sorry, I'm gonna catch my breath. So now, 12 years later, I have learned a ton about nutrition. I have written 2 books based on nutrition, and I coach moms on how to eat healthy and how to feed our kids healthy too. And I feel like that's a super important part because, number one, it takes a whole lot of time and energy and effort that we don't really have if we're trying to put different pieces together and feed our kids one thing and feed ourselves something else. And for the second part, I feel like kids will eat what you're eating. And if they grow up knowing that as just their habits, then that's one less thing that they have to struggle with as they get older and as they become adults. So that is my motivation. And so what I have found over the last few years is, number one, eating doesn't have to be complicated, eating healthy. Number two, I don't have to be on a diet to eat well. I feel like a lot of people feel like if they're not eating gluten-free, or they're not eating paleo, or they're not eating, oh, what's the other one that's super big? I can't even think of it right now. Vegan. If they're not eating fat-free, whatever the thing is, people feel like I gotta do this big, huge change or else I can't do anything at all, or it just feels overwhelming. That's not the case. There's lots of different ways to do that, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit about that with you today. And the final thing is, my energy and my mood and my stress levels, I have found are super highly affected by the foods that I eat. I have found that with myself. I have found that with my kids. I have found that with my clients. The nutrients or lack thereof that you put into your body have a huge effect on all of that, all your energy, all your mood, your patience, your ability to focus. Okay, so that is super important while you're working from home and taking care of your kids at the same time, because if you're like hangry or you know, eating chips and drinking coffee all day or whatever, you're not going to be effective with getting all the things done and with finding that balance. It's just not going to happen. So I found that life is just a lot easier and more calm when we're eating balanced diet, high in nutrients. We do have treats. I don't subscribe to eliminating anything. So we do eat meat, we do eat dairy, we do eat wheat, we do eat lots of veggies and fruits, and I try to stick with low-fat dairy and then healthy fats like I mentioned over the last 2 days. Avocados and chia seeds are awesome. Nuts, hummus, oils, you know, olive oil, grapeseed oil, all those are good, and you need fat for energy. So I don't want you to feel like, hi Lizette, I don't want you to feel like it's gonna be this big overwhelming thing and you have to go dump out everything from your pantry. Like, I'm sure there's things there that we can work with, and I like to help people with that. So if you have something that you have questions about, feel free to ask in the comments. So that's the thing. I don't like to feel like, and I don't like for my kids to feel like, that eating healthy is a chore or a punishment, or feeling like we're being deprived of something. That's not fun. It's not motivating to keep doing it. So my goal has always been to find ways to bring the good foods in a way that my whole family will enjoy it and look forward to it, and that just makes it easier all the way around. So my first tip for today for actually using food for energy is to start the day with a super nutritious breakfast, and you want to use something that is good for long-term energy. So I have protein smoothies a lot. I use Shakeology, so it has a lot of added nutrients in there. I also recommend homemade oatmeal, or instant oatmeal if it's plain. You don't want a ton of sugar in there because that's going to defeat the purpose, but you want whole grain, so old-fashioned oats or steel-cut oats are the best, because they take longer for your body to process, and so while that's happening, it's like a constant fuel for you. And same for kids, but it's not like the sugar high bouncing off the walls kind of energy. It's a calm, long sustained energy. That's what you want. So since we don't buy sweetened, I add fruits, or pure maple syrup or honey, And then you can do like dried fruits or fresh or frozen fruits. Berries are awesome. I like to do diced apples with pecans on our oatmeal sometimes. Also raisins are good. Any kind of dried fruit. My kids love craisins on theirs, so we do that too. Another suggestion for breakfast is scrambled eggs with fresh spinach and diced peppers. I like it all mixed together and cooked. My kids don't. So what I do is I chop up all the veggies and then I'll cook them separate. So I'll cook my eggs with my veggies and then I'll split half of that and cook some eggs just by themselves. And then, excuse me, my kids will eat the veggies on the side like a salad with their eggs. But anything protein, high in protein, low in sugar, is going to be really good for that long level sustained energy that you want. My second tip is to drink a ton of water. Like, drink water all day long. My kids are not big fans of water. I love it. I got used to drinking just water when I was way back in the day. I was a waitress, and there was so many times when there just wasn't time to get anything else to drink, so you're right there by the water station, that's what you drink, and that's kind of how I got used to doing that. Now it's just a habit. I carry my water bottle with me everywhere I go. I got this one right here. I fill it up at least 3 times a day, usually 4. And for my kids, since they don't like it, I try to make it fun, and I'll make a pitcher of flavored water. So I'll put like orange slices or lemon wedges or cucumbers. What's another thing they like to do? Fresh herbs. So basil is really good. We do like a strawberries and basil water. So good, especially in the summertime. Or basil with lemon is good also. It just gives it a little bit of flavor without adding any sugar or gross stuff that like some of the water flavor packets or whatever they are, I think I've seen at the store. It doesn't have any junk in it. So it's just like pure fruit and herbs, and it flavors your water, and it's really good. So my final tip for today is to keep healthy snacks ready. So I have found, I learned this the hard way really quick when I first started homeschooling my kids, that when they were home all day, like they want to eat all day. Like that's all they want to do. And at first it was really frustrating and really overwhelming. And I'm like, all I do all day is like prep food and feed you guys and do dishes and repeat. And so what I found was that I need to go back to my toolkit and like, okay, so I'm gonna prep foods. I'll usually spend about 15 to 20 minutes a day doing food prep. That's all I do. And I'll do like one thing a day. So today I'll do like a big bag of carrot sticks and celery sticks. Tomorrow I'll do hard-boiled eggs. The next day I'll do make a trail mix or bake muffins or something like that. I do whole grain fruit sweetened muffins. I actually wrote a cookbook with a bunch of recipes for those, and we use those a lot, and I'll post the link to that below for you. But yeah, I just do like a big batch of one thing at a time. Then I'm not in the kitchen doing a whole bunch of stuff, spending a whole bunch of time. I found that when I used to try to prep like a whole bunch of different stuff all at once, like I'd go to the grocery store, bring all the veggies in, cut it all up, have it all in the fridge. My kids will eat more veggies that way, which is a good thing, but still if I did too much, it wouldn't stay fresh long enough and I'd end up throwing a lot of stuff out. So what I found is if I stagger it, then we still have a little bit of variety each day, but we're running out of things like on a more staggered schedule, and it's not like eat all these veggies right now and then 2 days later we don't have anything or we're throwing stuff out. Okay, so let's see, I was gonna point out the reasons. Okay, so if you have the healthy snacks already set up, then that saves you tons of interruptions when you're trying to focus on work. I know my kids at first were like interrupting me probably a dozen times a day needing food, and I was like, oh my gosh, we need to figure out a way for you to be able to get this yourself. So that takes care of that. They can get it as they need, and you know that they're getting healthy choices. They're not just reaching into, you know, the snack pantry with the chips and all that stuff, whatever you keep in your house. My husband likes to have chips in the house, so they're here, and without direction, my kids will kind of like, you know, they do have them, but I try to keep it limited and have them do veggies and stuff first. Usually, they'll fill up on veggies and then they don't have room for the chips. And I'll tell you, veggies and protein foods are so much more filling that kids and adults, you don't have to eat as much food to feel satisfied as, like, you know, when you open one of those family-sized bag of chips and like 2 people could be sitting there eating them and they're gone in like 10 minutes, right? You're gonna save yourself a ton of time and probably a ton of money by just having the healthy snacks and letting them, you know, eat those, fill up on those, and not be powering down bags and bags of pretzels and chips and junk stuff. And then, as I mentioned before, having snacks throughout the day helps to keep your blood sugars level, so you're not like getting the hangries in the middle of the day or having that afternoon fatigue that I've talked about before too. Okay, so those are my tips for today. I'm looking at what do you suggest for on the go. I have 4 teenage boys that are in junior high and high school. Unless it's the weekend, I feel like I can never get them to sit down long enough to eat something healthy. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I actually have had that issue too with my kids. Even though they're younger, they're on completely different schedules. They don't sit down really for we sit down together for breakfast, but like, hi Ann, they don't they're off schedule like in the middle of the day, so they don't like to eat lunch at the same time, and then they're snacking at different times. And so that's how it helps for me to have stuff like in the fridge. If they are like going, like you need stuff for them to take to school, or you need stuff for them like they're going from school to sports to other stuff, if you could clarify that. What I will do, I know that I have a post that I did when my son was in 1st or 2nd grade, because I was really big on trying to get like healthy stuff into his lunchbox. And we lived in Key West, Florida, so I had to make sure that stuff was like they would like put their lunch bags out in the outside walkway, so like I didn't want stuff getting hot and gross out there. So I will dig up that post and put that for you, because I know I have some good ideas in there that for stuff that they could bring with them to school. And I know like with junior high and high school, I remember when I was in school, it was kind of funny, like I don't know, you were kind of weird if you brought your own lunch. So I don't know if that's an issue anymore or in your area, I don't know. But I will I'll go ahead and put that post up, and then if you have any questions or like how we could kind of alter that for older kids, I'd be happy to help you with that, Lizette. Okay, so let's see. That's what I have for today. I'll be back tomorrow and Friday. And Friday, I'm going to be talking more about how to maximize your time with food prep, and in general with working from home. So that will be something to look forward to on Friday. And I just want to let you know I am still prepping for the 7 days to less stress and more energy workshop. I decided to change the date on that from, I think I said the June 19th. I'm going to go ahead and wait and start that on June 26th. It's a 7-day online workshop. It's perfect for work-at-home moms who feel like you don't have enough time for yourself to take care of yourself. You need a little bit more healthy habits, stuff like that. And I will post more information and details about that in the comments below also. And one more thing before I go, because I've been doing my healthy snack of the day every day this week, just to kind of show you guys what I eat and how I fit that in with my schedule and helping my kids stay on task with eating healthy with me. And so today I have, oh my god, glare. I've got a blueberry parfait. It's just non-fat plain Greek yogurt and then fresh blueberries, and then I have a honey flax granola that I make. I can link that up. That's in my book, Eat to Beat Stress. This granola, actually this snack itself, has 5 of the 10 superfoods from that book in just this one little snack. And it's, I figured out the calories at one point. I want to say it's like 250 calories for this guy. I made it cute in this little parfait cup today, but it's usually about twice this size for the 200 calories, 250. And blueberries are super good for energy. It's got oats, which are also super good for energy. It's just sweetened with honey. There's no sugar or anything in there, so that helps with keeping your blood sugars level. And it's got some flax seeds and almonds in there for healthy fats to give you energy and help with your focus and concentration. And flax seeds are also really good for your mood, balancing your mood. So there's that. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.